All right, we're recording. I am hashtag RDM Russell David McLean, and joining me, as always, is the one and only Mudtooth. How you doing, Mudtooth?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing today?
Oh, it's kind of a, you know what, honestly, I don't know if it's the September 11th thing or what, but it's kind of a weird morning.
Yeah, while we're talking about that, let's never forget. I'm glad that we've come a long way since all that happened, but let's never forget all them folks that, walked out the door going to work and didn't think they was, didn't know that they wasn't coming home. So,
right.
Y'all kiss them babies and, hug your partner, whomever that might be, tell them you love them,
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, but I did take your advice this morning. I was sitting down, and as I was drinking my cup of coffee, and thinking, I reached over and I turned the old radio on and dug out my Merle Haggard CD, and I said, I'm going to do what Mudtooth said, and I put in the fight inside of me. It made everything better. You're right. That's
I want everybody to at least once this week, possibly more if you can, but listen to The Fight Inside of Me by Merle Haggard. It's very appropriate for what's going on in our country today. And, and that song, it's got a little age on it. I think old Merle could see the future. But I want everybody to listen to it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Merle probably could see the future.
I think he could. I ain't going to tell him what he could see, through the bottom of that bottle.
Right. Yes, indeed. But, we've got a lot of good things going on this week. We're going to be live and in concert Saturday night. Don't forget about that. And over here at the Laguna Beach Daiquiri, myself, Mudtooth, the Roadhouse Bandits.
That's right.
And
come see us.
Come see us. Come hang out with us.
We're located conveniently on Highway 190 in Denham Springs, Louisiana. It's no cover.
No cover.
So
smoke free.
Come free. Smoke free. Come see us.
Yes.
Beer cold. The liquor is not watered down.
Well, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time today, Mudtooth, because you're mobile. You're out and about doing the Mudtooth thing out in the world
That's
today,
right.
And
solving the world's problems is what I do.
Yes, indeed, and it's I could have did this without you, I guess. Well, I don't think I can now. I mean, it's done. It's too late. I don't think that's possible anymore. I think everybody's done got used to hearing us on here. It's
good. Because I like being on here, and I like being on here with you.
Oh yeah.
And I enjoy talking to the folks out there. Folks, since I'm talking to you, feel free to send me some emails with your questions, comments, or concerns. That's going to be Mudtooth at RadioRandomNetwork.com. I'm looking forward to speaking with some of you.
Yes, indeed. Same here. You can reach me at Russell at RadioRandomNetwork.com, and you can find all that information out as well at RadioRandomNetwork.com. Hey, Mudtooth, it's Papa's Mudtooth's birthday, ain't it?
It's Papa's Mudtooth's birthday. It's my daddy's birthday. I want to say happy birthday, Daddy. I know he's going to be listening. My daddy's my hero. He's the hardest working man I know, and which I think is an attribute that we no longer put a value on in our society. And I think that's sad. But Daddy, I love you, and keep on keeping on. We'll see you this weekend.
Yes, indeed. Well, we got a lot of things coming up, Mudtooth. We got a lot of great things happening here as well, especially with we done hit the iTunes new and noteworthy chart for a second time. We're nominated for the Gratitude Award for Podcast Day. And,
there you go. Because we're impacted live.
Impacted people. Pissing them off, or whether it be making them smile.
That's right. Just, we'll just try to spread a little sunshine.
Yes, indeed. And we were talking, we were nominated for that award, right? So what you got to do now is you got to go to iTunes and you got to leave a review. Help us out. When you leave a review, that helps. We get a fair shake at winning this thing. That ain't but a little old plaque, but I mean, I ain't never won no plaque before.
Right, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
It sure would be nice. And it won't cost y'all folks a nickel.
Nope.
Just get on there and click on it, give us a good review. We sure would appreciate it.
That's
Radio. If I run into you, if I run into you somewhere and you tell me that you did it, I'll tell you thank you.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, if we win that award, me and you were talking, and maybe it was at Fireman's Brew we were taking a sip of, but I kind of agreed. I'd do something kind of crazy maybe if we won it. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right. You never know. You never know. It might be some craziness that occurs, and hopefully someone will get a video record of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you will. You did last time. Anyway, you go to RadioRandomNetwork.com/iTunes to rate us on iTunes, RadioRandom.com/Stitcher to rate us on Stitcher Radio, and we're also on iHeart, Mudtooth. We don't talk a whole lot about that, but that's a big deal in itself, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we certainly enjoy doing this every week, and next week we'll be back to our regular pattern here, where it's you and I with a guest. I think it's an actress. I think she played in Glee, and I'm not even going to try to attempt to mess her name up. But
folks, y'all don't know this, but we've had some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We've had some equipment that just bits dust on us, so we're kind of throwing this together. But that's okay. We aim to please, and we get the job done. We started this thing around a kitchen table on a phone in the middle of the ice storm. So I think we're safe in doing this today, and we'll make it.
And that's less technology than what I'm doing today with what we're actually doing the show on.
Right, and we got an actress, next week. I want to say her name was Leticia Jimenez.
That's it, Leticia Jimenez.
I want to say that was her name, and I'm looking forward to speaking with her. She's probably not looking forward to speaking with me because she don't know me, but that's okay. And I'm going to ask the tough questions.
Yes, indeed. Well, you're talking about tough, but we got her coming up next week, and we got a lot of good guests. Leroy Van Dyke's going to be on as well, and in the next couple of weeks we'll have one of the members of the band Exile, who is they just come out with a book. Just lined up T.G. Shepherd for another interview next month for his new CD, in which I'm sure you and I will enjoy. And, they send enough of that good stuff to give out, too. They send them books and them CDs, and I love giving that stuff away. So all you got to do is sign up for the Radio Random Network newsletter, and you're automatically entered to win. But, Mudtooth, have you ever heard of Suicide Girls?
I have.
Okay, well, we're going to, I'm going to try to figure out a way to do this to where you and I both ain't sleeping in no doghouse. But we got one on the hook, and she's going to be on probably in a week or a couple of weeks. Pandy Suicide is her name.
I've seen the young lady, and I'm going to tell you something. She's a knockout. Now, she's a knockout. She got a bunch of tattoos, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to speaking with her.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to talk about, but,
Well, I can think of a few things. I don't know if it'd be allowed, but and how much trouble we'd get into,
Yeah, we're gonna keep it. We'll keep it. Try to at least not get divorced or anything like that. But yeah, she's peach. I'm looking forward to it.
Anyway, let's segue on into what we got going on today. We got T. Graham Brown on the show. He's going to be joining me here shortly. And
I want to say, Mr. Brown, I know you listen to the show, and that in and of itself amazes me that you would take a few minutes out of your day to, look, you got stuff to do. Of course we all do.
Right.
But there ain't no reason, that you would have to do this. You choose to do it. That makes me feel proud. I know it makes Russell feel proud, and we're glad to have you. We just tickled to death that you would do that. So, thank you, Mr. Brown. I appreciate it.
Most definitely, and OT, he's a great guy, and this is his second round with us here on the Radio Random Network, doing an interview. And what I liked about it is, he has a certain bond with many Louisiana musicians. One being Todd O'Neill, and You'll hear him in the interview put Todd O'Neill over, which they could have sung together, and it's pretty cool. So shout out to Todd O'Neill and his management. And
yes, Todd, good on you, son. You know, I've always thought a lot of you, and you've always been just nice as you can be to me. I don't blow smoke up people's behinds, but you know, when you got a fella like T. Graham Brown saying that you're a good singer and all, that's real credit in my book.
Yes, indeed. Ain't nothing to shake a finger at. That's for sure.
No.
But with that said, what we're going to do right now is we're going to tell everybody to be sure and like, subscribe, and leave that rating and review on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Help us win for Podcast Day 2015. And also, you can support the show by going to Amazon. It's RadioRandomNetwork.com/Amazon. Every time you buy from Amazon, they kick a little bit of money back to me and Mudtooth so we can buy some new equipment.
That's right.
So go.
You know what we need to do? We need to introduce tailgating to International Podcast Day. I think that'd be an idea. I want to say tailgate.
I don't know.
I think it should. We show how.
Yes, indeed. Now, you know, you said that, and we got a few minutes before I'm joined by T. Graham Brown, but let's talk a little bit about the art of tailgating. What is the best way? I mean, is there an art to it? Or is it just?
Well, it's like anything else. You can do it up as much as you want to. I mean, I know people that go all out tailgating and don't go to the ball game. Now, I'm not one of them. I go to the game. You know, and we normally just bring some sandwiches and stuff, walk around camping, and do what people do. But, man, I see people with these elaborate, like, they have, like, trailers that are painted, and they have, like, a name for their tailgate group, you know, it's, you know, like the so-and-so Raiders or whatever. And they have flags and stuff, and they put up out there, and they got music going, they got grills going, they got little games out there, little beanbag tosses and stuff like that, and they just have a time,
right?
You know, and it's all about, you know, what do you want to set up and take down and all that kind of stuff. Me, we just show up and we bring some beer and walk around and talk to people, and then, you know, go to the ball game. But it is, you know, I would put the LSU fans up against anybody in the world tailgating, you know. And a lot of times they'll cook stuff that depends on who we're playing. Like if we play in Arkansas, we're about to cook a pig. And I'm going to tell you something, that's the best smell. You ain't never smelled nothing like that.
Oh, no.
So you smell 1,000 hogs cooking. You know, I mean, it is wonderful.
Now, let me ask you this. You know, you're talking about that. Now, with the tailgating, is that just something that we do here in Louisiana?
No, they do it. They do it all over.
And you got to excuse my ignorance on that because I'm not really into that scene. Yeah, but
they do it all over. I think we do it better than anybody else does.
You do everything better than everybody else, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm biased in that opinion, but no, they do it all over. You know, they all get out there and they'll have a little canopy or whatever and they'll cook and stuff like that. And they have a good time, but you know, they ain't nobody, you know, cooking jambalaya going to the Buffalo Bills game. I can tell you that.
Yes, indeed. Well, Mudtooth, you know, we're going to keep it short. So, is there anything you want to say before we swap? I want to tell everybody have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. It's you know, you only go around one time, so try to make the most of it. You know, take some time, get out there with the folks that you love and you enjoy being around. You know, do what you feel and keep both feet on the wheel. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And if you're around the Denham Springs area, come see us Saturday night. We'd be glad to talk with you and entertain you and try to make you smile and dance a little bit.
Hey, y'all, this is T. Graham Brown, and you're listening to Russell and Mudtooth right here on the Radio Random Network.
All right, here we are once again. You're listening to the Radio Random Network, the Russell and Mudtooth Show, and very special guest today, calling in for the second time. He's one of the best stylists as far as vocalists go, known for his blue-eyed soul, his country, and he's got a major influence on Louisiana music. I'm talking to none other than the one and only T. Graham Brown. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing good, Russ. How are you, man?
I am doing fabulous, man, now that I'm talking with you. Yes, indeed.
Well, I'm glad.
Yes, sir. Well, the last time I talked to you, you were getting ready to take the trip to California for the Grammys, and you were nominated for Wine in the Water. And how did that experience go for you?
Oh, we had a big time, man. We had a big time. A buddy of mine, Mike Ferris, was in the same category as I was, and he won the Grammy. And I got to tell you, his record is awesome. I told him the whole time, you know, for the few months leading up to it, I said, man, you're going to win this thing. I know you are. I hated it because he was my competition.
Oh, yeah.
But we had a good time. We didn't feel too bad about not winning because Mike won, and we knew if you have to say lost to a great record, I don't really consider you know, getting that nomination, that Grammy nomination, man, was so far off of our radar. It was a total, I don't know, it was just like found money or something.
Yes, indeed. Well, you know, I know for a fact that you hung out with a good friend of ours here, and I know he's a good friend of yours, Mr. Joel Saunier, who he brought his Grammy home as well.
Yeah, we rode over to the Grammys with Joel and Bobby. Yeah, I love Joel. Gosh, it was just, how many times has he been nominated? He's been nominated several times and never had one, and I'm so glad that he won, man. I love Joel. Hey, if anybody deserves a Grammy, it's Joel.
Yes, indeed. He is a hard worker, and definitely, I mean, for us down here, he's a great, great ambassador for Louisiana tradition and Louisiana music, you know. Well,
that's what he's all about, man. I'm telling you, he is. That's the way he is. You know, every time I'm around him, that's what he wants to talk about. You know, is the tradition and keeping the tradition alive. That means a whole lot to Joel. I promise you that.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, as we transition here, T, you got some pretty good news here not too long ago. You're now working with the Leroy Van Dyke Enterprises for booking representation. Can you give us a little bit of insight on how all that come about?
Well, you know, Leroy's wife is named Gladys, and they've had this tour. I don't know how many years they've been doing. It's called a Country Gold Tour, and they go all over the United States and put on shows, and it'll have people, I don't know, like, for instance, Mo Bandy, David Frizzell, Jeannie Seeley, P.G. Shepard, bunch of us old school guys. They'll put on a show, and they'll usually be 2 or 3 or 4. What do you call us? People call us these days classic country, I guess, or whatever they call us. Anyway, that's where I got to know them, and I've done a lot of those shows with them. And then Jimmy Fortune, a friend of mine, you know, that was with the Statler Brothers so long, hired Gladys to book them, and they just said she was doing a great job for them. And we, you know, like I said, we knew Gladys very well, and we knew what a professional she was. So Sheila asked me one day what I thought about it, and I said, hey, take the pressure off of you, because Sheila's been doing a lot of that, and I was so glad that she wanted to go with Gladys. It was fine with me, and Gladys is going to do great for us, I'm sure.
Yes, indeed. Now, you said something pretty interesting a few minutes ago. You were trying to find the word of what people call you. You know, I guess your style or what they would call that group of. I call them stylists, because there ain't nothing else like you know, old school. But down here we call it the good stuff. And I know the good stuff.
Oh, good. Well, good. I'm glad of that.
Yes, indeed. You know, traditional country or whatever. But I mean, T, you have a kind of a genre of your own where you've kind of mixed in, country soul, a little gospel. I mean, it's your style is more or less like a melting pot.
Well, what it is, Russ, is I'm confused.
Yes, indeed. Well, you stay confused, my friend, because we love it down here. And
I will, man. I'm in a constant state of confusion, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
I think we all are. My buddy and my co-host who is absent today because his dad is having a birthday. Mr. Mudtooth is his name. He's not with me today, but he is an advocate for country music and your style, and everybody that you just talked about and touched on, such as Jimmy Fortune and all the good stuff, as we call it. And real quick, if you could give Mr. David Sellers from Kentwood, Louisiana, if you can wish him happy birthday for me, man, that'd tickle that feller to death.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear David. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much, T. You're incredible, my friend. Incredible. Yes, indeed. Well, look, I heard a rumor, and I'm glad I got you here today because I want to kind of confirm it and kind of maybe get a little insight, if you will. I heard that you are working on a Christmas album.
Yeah, man, we actually got it finished and turned into Sony. I'm glad to get that done, man. We've been trying to do it for so long. Sheila stays after me every year, hey, we got to do a Christmas album this year. So finally we went in and did it. And I'm glad it's finished. I'll tell you that. I'm glad it's done, and now people can listen to it every year.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, what can we expect from it? I mean, is it the traditional country Christmas carols, or is it? Well, we know it's going to be T. Graham Brown style, but what kind of stuff can we expect to be on it?
Oh man, it's a pretty much a traditional kind of Christmas album, like White Christmas, and then Jingle Bell Rock, and that kind of stuff, and then we cut a couple of original songs on it. A song called Mary Had a Little Lamb that Sheila and Jimmy Fortune and I wrote. And then we got one that Sheila and our son Acme and myself wrote called Santa Claus is Coming in a UFO, and it rocks pretty hard.
Yes, indeed.
So it's a good one, man. It's one, you put it on Christmas Day or whatever and let it play in the background while you're opening presents.
Now, Miss Sheila, I've dealt with Miss Sheila in the past, and she's a great lady. You've been very blessed with somebody that stands beside you like as she does. But you're talking about writing songs with her and her handling some of your affairs and stuff. Can you give us just a little insight on what's that like and keeping the balance from husband and wife versus being on that professional level?
Well, to start with, she's my best friend. I know people might say that, but she really is my best friend,
right,
and my number one advocate. And she works very hard for me. She takes care of me. We got this. It's like having a little family business, and we get along great. We don't sit around and argue about anything. We talk about stuff and what kind of move to make on, business wise. Like you mentioned the Gladys Van Dyke thing, we just sat down and talked about it and decided that's what we wanted to do. And a lot of times I'll say, hey, you decide. Sometimes if it's something that doesn't really, if I don't feel strongly about it one way or the other, I just tell her to, make up her mind. And I try not to put too much pressure on her, and I try not to, like I'm running and hiding from making a decision or something. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on her, but
right.
She knows the way I think, so.
Right. That helps out a lot.
No, we have a great relationship, business-wise and friends-wise and husband-wife-wise,
Yeah.
We have a good time.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, you said earlier about Sony Records, in which last time I talked to you, you spoke a little bit about being back on a major label. Now, I don't want to call you out or anything, but is it different now being? I mean, you're 60 years old, versus from the time you started and when you were, I guess maybe chasing or trying to get a record deal on a major label. Versus now, where you're 60 and you're back on a major label, is there a big difference now?
Well, yeah, I don't think they expect that we're going to go out and have #1 country songs. So the pressure's kind of off. We just, I think they're happy if they make money on it, and we're happy if we make money on it. And if it's like if they make money, we're making money, and vice versa. And it's not like we're out there, trying to compete in the country music world. We just got our little thing that we do, and they believe in what we're doing, and they're helping us, get it out there. So it's good. It's an easy thing. It's not a real big deal,
Right.
They help us in the ways that they can help us, and we're giving them something good to put out, we think, and it works out great. And then Cracker Barrel is, huge in the whole thing. Cracker. That's where we sell most of our records is Cracker Barrel.
Yes, indeed, and that's awesome of them to get on board like that too, as well. I mean, that's that's something that's a real honor. I can imagine.
Yeah, well, they got their own little record department, and they got a lot of stores, man. They got a lot of traffic going in and out of their stores, and there's just not that many places that people can walk in and actually buy a CD. A lot of people have to order it off online, and these, you walk into Cracker Barrel and they got a little record rack there, and
right.
So they keep ordering them. They're selling them because they keep ordering them, and that makes Sony happy and makes us happy too.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I know they got some good vittles in there too, man. I'm going to tell you. I mean, I'm kind of a big guy. I've probably helped them pay their light bill for about 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, well, that's some good eating, no doubt about it. But about good eating, man. Down there where you live is great food.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's getting about to be time for some gumbo season.
I'm ready.
Yes, indeed. Well, when you get down here, I'll be sure to get Mama to make you a big old batch of it.
Hey, I'm in. Count me in, man.
Yes, sir. Real quick, I know you got a busy day. I don't want to keep you a whole lot longer, but a few more questions here, and one being T. And I understand if you might not want to answer this. I don't know. I've had a few guys on here that would rather not answer it, and I had a few that was very vocal about it. But what is your thoughts on the state of country music these days?
Well, to start with, I don't really listen to it, so I can't be too much of a judge one way or the other. I heard Vince Gill tell Don Imus one time. He said, "Hey, man, we had our time. These guys are having their time. It's not. We're different generations, and we're not necessarily supposed to like each other's music. It was. We did what we considered country music, I guess, and they're doing what they consider country music, so it's all good. I can't really put them down because, hey, it's their thing. I mean, I'm not. I don't make those decisions anymore, and like I say, I don't really listen to the radio that much. If I'm in the car, I'm listening to classic rock.
Come on,
that's usually what I listen to. So anyway, I don't really pay it much attention. I don't think they're going to be cutting any of my songs anytime soon. But
that's a shame.
That's okay too.
Yeah, well, I know they got a guy down here that I know very well by the name of Todd O'Neill who recently cut Hell or High Water.
Todd's great. Todd sings great, man.
Yes, sir. You had a part in that as well, correct?
Yeah, well, I was so happy. He called up and asked me if I would sing it with him, and I thought, man, this is great. Louisiana boy.
Mm-hmm.
He can sing. He can actually sing. You know, he's not talking. He's singing, and yeah, I had a good time with him, man. And then the engineer was a guy that had worked on engineered Taylor Swift's first few albums, and it was a pro deal, and he did a great job.
I tell you, from a standpoint, now, I'm a musician as well, but from a standpoint where we're at, Todd is the guy. I mean, he's hungry, and he goes for gold, and he's another guy that I guess kind of like a last of a dying breed as far as keeping a traditional type country, keeping it going, and making sure that it's not forgotten.
Well, you got to be hungry, man. When you're his age and when you're trying to do what he's trying to do, you got to be hungry. But like I said, one of the things I like, well, Todd's a very nice man to start with, but the guy can actually sing, and I don't say that about many people, but he can actually sing, so I got respect for him.
Yes, indeed. Well, real quick, T, before I let you go and get back to your busy day, any upcoming events or tour dates this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to be in Arkansas this weekend. I don't really know what our schedule looks like. Sheila keeps up with that more than I do. She'll tell me, sometimes I'll just ask her, but usually she tells me on Monday or Tuesday where we're going.
Well, we're going to keep an eye out for you when you get down. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just go. I go where she tells me to go.
Yeah, sometimes that's the best way to do it, my friend. T, and when you get back down here to Louisiana, we sure enough going to come see you and maybe get a picture with you and, show the support and promote and keep promoting and keeping it country. And I want to thank you so much for being my guest here today. And real quick, I want to tell you too, the last time you were on, you were the first major artist we had last year, and by having you on, it drove our numbers and our ratings up, and we've actually landed a spot on iHeartRadio now, and I want to say thank you for that. And
that's awesome, man.
Yes, sir. And you, Miss Sheila, any of you guys, if you ever need something down here in Louisiana, all you got to do is pick up the phone or hit us up on the internet.
Get in touch with me.
I sure will, T. Thank you very much, brother.
You. All right, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for calling, brother.
Tell Mudtooth, hey.
I will.
Tell Dave happy birthday.
I will.
Tell Dave happy birthday.
Oh, he's going to be tickled to death, man. All right, thank you, brother.
All right, God bless you.